Accucare Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Brick, New Jersey offers a state-of-the-art facility with all the best and current treatments. With athletic trainers, massage therapists, and doctors of physical therapy, Accucare has everything you need to stay healthy and perform at the highest level. Cupping, stretching, laser therapy, compression boots, and a full-body cryo chamber are just some of what you can expect at Accucare. Check out their website and social media links in my bio. No prescription is needed to see them. So call them today and start feeling and performing at your best. Again, thank you to Accucare for sponsoring the Shore Football Report. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Accucare High School Football Preview Show, Monmouth County Edition, presented by the Shore Football Report. Today, we will talk RBC Casey's football with head football coach Mike Lange. Coach, thanks for coming on the show this morning.
I appreciate it, Rob. Good to be here. Good to talk some football, as always.
I don't know if you know this, but there's huge news with the Shore Football Report. We are now in partnership. Our sponsor is Accucare in Brick. Pam Anthony, the founder and owner. We have the same vision, and our name will be all over the Shore Football Report as we cover the 2022 football season, and we'll be at a lot of your football games and all that. So I want all the athletes to be familiar with them and Accucare. Why I like Accucare is I think it was important that our business was associated with somebody that would help them, in terms of their performance, because all these athletes want to perform, but preparing players' bodies, and that's important because we talked before about not only getting stronger, but also taking care of your body before it breaks down, right? And as a football coach, you don't want to hear that Portella or Harmon are nursing tight hamstrings and just get better. Just get better. We're working on game plans and all this, and we're not the experts in this stuff. Well, they are the experts. They have high-tech equipment, and they are great. And the athletes that go there believe in them right there. So how important is it to you to have people like that around to help the athletes?
Well, I think it's a huge part of it now. Like we were discussing before, just, there's that other phase of, a football game is the recovery part, right? Getting yourself ready for the next week, or guys are banged up on a Saturday or Sunday, and they need to, get in front of somebody that can get them ready for the next week. So it's a big initiative for us, kids taking care of their bodies after games. It's kind of like a little bit of a lost part of it, but we address it a lot. So this is a, good avenue for all kids to have access to.
Coach, I'm not an expert in physical therapy, but back in the day, we used to put a tub of ice, and we would go in there right now. Now they have the equipment where you go into a big chamber, and you see the person's head, and the whole body's being frozen. It's incredible. It's incredible. The technology is incredible. The state of the art they got at Accucare, it's awesome. But those ices, man, that we used to put the garbage cans and fill it up with ice, and us coaches and players were like, this is so awesome. But they have a little bit easier technology stuff with that.
Come a long way, that's for sure.
Come a long way. So we will talk more about Accucare as the season goes on. You and your players will have access to them, who is located in Brick. Pam Anthony is a big friend of the Shore Conference football community. Mike, you've had a very, very busy, how would I say, 6 months, 7, 8, 9 months dating back to last year, winning the non-public B state championship at MetLife Stadium, which I call Jet Stadium. We all know it's Jet Stadium, and beating DePaul 13-8, and winning a state championship, which I thought was not only great for your program, was great for the short conference, Coach. How was that experience winning a state championship year there at RBC?
I think it's one of those once in a lifetime nights. Obviously, like you said, it's great for our program, great for the kids. And to your point of, I think it's a big step for the short conference as well. Proving that we have a lot of good football down here, but just one of those happy moments for the program, really.
Now, my question to you was: do you like playing in big stadiums like MetLife, or would you rather play at the home seed stadium and have a huge, compact crowd?
I mean, I think there's merit on both sides. I think generally, hey, you like to have that home field advantage, the feel to it. But I think sometimes if you look at if I'm a high school kid, obviously the dream is always to play those bigger venues. But I'm open to either. But I do see your point as far as having a couple thousand people
Yeah.
on your side of the field for a game like that. Yeah, it makes it extra special. But yeah, I mean, it's I'm good either way, to be honest with you.
When we went to the state championship game, we were playing at Rowan, and they had all these. You cannot do this. You cannot do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. And one of them was no drenching Gatorade on the coaches. And
Really?
I looked at my AD. I said, I will take the fine if we actually threw Gatorade over top of me after the game. It means we won, and I
Right,
will give you my paycheck if they did that.
right.
But that was one of the things they were so concerned that there'll be no Gatorade drenching of the coaches after the game. What happens if they do? Is there a fine? I would take the fine, but
Well, I'm glad that wasn't the case that I getting dunked because it was cold that night. So
it was cold. Coach, my motto has always been tradition never graduates. Now, when you're coaching high school football, players graduate. You get them into colleges, they graduate, and now a new class comes up. But with that being done and said, you have a lot of returners back. You really do. You're looking at your roster from top to bottom. You are very, very deep coming back. At what point do you stop talking about the state championship and start talking about the 2022 season at Red Bank Catholic?
uh, I think it's probably once we start our off season in January. I mean, it's I think the saying we said to our kids is we're on to 22, and it's not we're just pushing what we did on the back burner, but it's this. We're kind of living for the moment what this year is going to be, and the work starts then in January, leading up to now, and um, again, totally appreciate and obviously very happy with what last year's result was, but it's time to move on, and now the target just gets that much bigger.
Yeah, you're right. It does get a little bigger. The expectations get a little higher too within the
Yep,
program. You want to get there and do it again. You're playing different teams. You're playing in
yep,
a different division. So
yep,
there is some different stuff, and we'll talk about that later on in the show. But let's
yep.
start off now, Coach, with the process. Briefly talk about how you got to Red Bank Catholic. Tell me where you first started, lead up to where you're at right now, and then we'll get right into talking RBC football. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I started coaching after college 2000. I coached at my old high school, Bishop Bar, which is now St. Thomas Aquinas. I coached there for 10 years. Started off as the linebacker coach, then I moved to the defensive coordinator side, and probably about 2007, I want to say the last couple years, I moved over to the offensive side, so I was a coordinator there. After I left there, I went over to the old Cardinal McCarrick in South Amboy. Was an assistant there for a year as the offensive coordinator. Then I moved over to the head coaching side of it. And then unfortunately, the school closed. Kind of was at that point where I didn't know what I was, if I was, in or out as far as what I was going to do next. Basically, and that was at the end of 14, I believe. And then in 16, I took a year off. And 16 is when I interviewed with Frank Edgerly for the linebacker coach position. took the job, and then after um, 2 years of that, that's when Matt Ahern moved on to Colts Neck High School, doing a great job over there. And I moved over to the defensive coordinator spot for 18 and 19, and then obviously took over during the COVID during
Yeah,
the COVID year of
yeah.
20, and that's how I kind of got to where I was.
So if you think about it, if Cardinal McCarrick never shut down, you probably wouldn't have been looking in other places, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. I guess everything happens for a reason. You know, I felt I was pretty happy there. I felt like it was going in the right direction after my first year, but
Hmm.
unfortunate for the school and the people who worked there and the kids that they were kind of scrambling,
Right.
and that kind of put me in a spot where all right, maybe what am I going to do next? So I took a year off, took a little breather, and here we are.
We always talk to the kids, where do you see yourself 5 years from now when they leave high school? And they kind of think, well, they're not sure. But let's look at it as from a coach's standpoint. Where would you have been 5 years ago? I mean, you never would have thought you were where you're at. You never would have thought.
That's it.
And
That's it. Everybody's got their own story to it.
you're
So
right, and it's a great story, and the future is even brighter right now for you
yeah,
because I mean, looking at what you have coming back after what you accomplished, in only 2 seasons, you have two division championships, you have a state championship, and you're just as hungry right now. And I know that, and you're doing
yep,
it. You're working hard. You got your guys are. You do a great job of exposure for kids going to colleges, so they're on the radar for that. They're all over the place going to college camp, so it's a busy, busy time for Red Bank Catholic players right now. And you're doing 7-on-7s, and of
yep.
course, of course, your strength program too is also in effect. So
Yeah, no doubt. It's been a busy one, but and obviously you hope that the fruits of your labor pay off in a couple of weeks. But I think I like the way we're working so far. We got a lot more to do though.
okay, coach, let's talk RBC football. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, coach, I'm going to take this off, and I don't ever want to see that again. We're going to talk about getting back to normal. Last year, we talked about COVID. I don't want to say that word no more. Getting
Right.
back to normal. Now, for the players, your seniors have not had a normal offseason for 2 years, meaning after their freshman football season was their last normal offseason workouts and all that. You were the head coach during the COVID. So you really haven't had a normal offseason with your own program the whole time too. Tell us what a normal offseason looks like under you as a head coach at RBC.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I think of like my first when I got the job in the February of that year, and by March was the 13th. It was like, hey, we'll see you in 2 weeks, and I didn't see the kids till June or July, whatever the heck. And then you couldn't practice with a football for a while. It was just, and every coach went through it, not just me. But as far as getting back to normal, I mean, we just, we got back to the normal weight room routine of, having the kids in a couple days a week. We did it right after school. Probably an hour and a half lift. Here we have a lot of kids that play multiple sports, which I'm totally all for.
Mm-hmm.
So we had some kids that were, we'll shuffle some kids around between basketball and wrestling, and then you fast forward to the spring where kids do lacrosse, baseball, and whatever else. But the turnout's been pretty solid. I mean, we're probably averaging between 30 to 40 kids at a particular time in the year. Again, going into where we have guys playing those 2 and 3 sports. And then obviously being able to get to mini camp and being able to do some conditioning on the field, and ultimately starting to practice and do our installs. And I think we changed it even more this year. We start practice 6:30 in the morning, and even our lifts are in the early morning too.
Mm-hmm.
And generally the turnout's been phenomenal. I mean, it's something we like. We beat the heat. I think the kids like it to have the rest of their day to do whatever or do other sports. But it feels good to just kind of be back into a normal routine of things.
Yeah, hey, coach. I mean, I as a head coach, I found it tough to get everybody on the same page. Meaning, when they leave, your campus. Like there's trainers out there. There's seven
Right.
on seven
Mm-hmm.
coaches out there. There's recreational 7-on-7s, and it's like you have your plan. And when you leave your when they leave your campus, you're assuming they're resting because you want to
Yeah.
recover. You break them
Mm-hmm.
down, you recover, and then they go to these other places and they're doing almost the same thing. So they're not really recovering. They're constantly breaking down and resting. I always tell the kids after you leave my campus, be a kid, get out there, have fun, and
Yeah.
then they're going in a direction where they want more. They want more and
Right.
more and more. And I just
No.
found it. I found it was tough getting the trainers from where because they never go to the same trainers. All these different other guys to
Right.
get them all on the same page. Say, here's what we do. Let's modify each other so these kids, recover too, which is just as important.
Right. I mean, it's I'm with you. I mean, I wish the kids would kind of take a little bit more of a break, but again, it's kind of the world we live in right now, and you're better off, managing it as opposed to going crazy over, which I think 10, 15 years ago would have been what the high school coach would have done.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the other side of it is the kids are putting in extra work to get better, so I'm not looking to micromanage that part.
Right.
I agree with you though. I wish they would rest their bodies a little more and come into August with less risk of hamstrings or shoulders or whatever they get. Just we've had that before, and but I just think it's the world we live in, unfortunately, as far as that. And hey, look, they're trying to get better at their craft. I have no problem with it. As a coach, believe me, I go to these camps and watch them run, and I want them to do well. But more importantly, I'm sitting there saying, "Don't get hurt."
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying in the back of my head. I'm there to make sure they get up when they jump for a jump ball and things like that. So, it's getting to August for me.
Coach, I did a showcase 2 weeks ago, and one of the they were competing, and competing and competing.
Right.
I don't want to say where the player's from, but he's local, and he started holding his hamstring
Yeah.
when he came back because he did, he made a quick turn, and he goes, I say, "You okay?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll be all right. It's just a little tight." So we did another rep. A couple minutes later, he jumps in there. I go, "Whoa, no, we got
Yeah.
15 minutes left in this camp, and I don't want to talk to your head coach and say." I'm the reason why you're nursing a tight, a bad hamstring and all that. I don't
Right.
think a lot of camps do that. They
Yeah.
just want you rep, rep, rep. All right, you're
Yeah.
sure? Go see your trainer when you get to school. But you're right. You want to make sure that these kids are not nursing injuries leading into your camp, that they're 100%, and then they're
Right.
able to play for the whole season. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a big adjustment if you think of what the last I don't know what you want to say 5 to 7 years of what June and July are for kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of it is the challenge of making sure that they're 100% healthy. Going into August, that's what we take. We take a few days just to kind of give them a little bit, but it's tough.
Coach, let's talk 2022 Red Bank Catholic football coaching staff that is very important and allows you to be the head football coach that excels on the football field.
Yeah, absolutely. The good thing is, here, continuity is a big piece of this, and we have everybody back from last year as far as coaching staff wise, which I think is a good thing. I think we try to keep it as normal as a season for the kids, and I
Mm-hmm.
think having a great staff, these guys do a tremendous job. They build the relationships with the kids, and again, I think that's a big part of it is having coaches that care about their positions passionately, and hey, they're fair with things. They're not going to always tell the kids you know what they want to hear. I think we are very proactive, you know, coaching and our approach to things. But these guys do a great job. So I'll just give you an idea. So Joe O'Connor is back as our offensive coordinator. He's been here. This will be year 5 for him. The second as the offensive coordinator. Kevin Gall has been. I think this is year 5 for him as well. He's done a great job as the DC here, and he also runs our strength program in the school. Um, Joe Gallagher is a wide receiver, defensive backs. Keith Hugger does our special teams, does a tremendous job. Mike Rosenfeld is our quarterback coach. Andrew Lemura does our running backs, and he helps out with the safeties. Jason Rutan does the tight ends and defensive ends. Jay Graham does our defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And then also we have our freshman coaches, Tony Flago, Don Gilson, Matt Mascara do a great job with the kids. I'm trying to think if I forgot anybody else on my staff. I probably, oh, I'm sorry, Matt Finnecane does our offensive line. Does a great job. But we have, I probably forgot somebody, which I'm sure they'll text me in a few minutes. But it's a good group of guys. Really, I look at it as a group that really cares about our kids, and really work hard at what we're doing here. It's not an easy thing to be a high school football coach, especially even an assistant these days.
It's not, Coach. Now you've been a coordinator when you were an assistant. You really were.
Yep.
Now I always found it funny, like in the NFL, that you hire an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator. They get to be a head coach, and what do? They give up their duties and they become just a head coach. So they're a different product that what you saw. Um,
Yeah.
Now you being the head coach, you're delegating,
Yeah.
but you were a coordinator. Are
Yeah.
you active in the game planning, or do you really give them the reins to kind of go in that
I mean,
direction?
I would say I don't really, I don't micromanage what the game plan is. It's more of, I'll look it over on both sides. I mean, I think the big thing is if you trust your guys. I mean, I think, like I look at offensively for us, like I've always been a spread, no huddle guy. So, our offensive staff with Joe do a great job as far as, putting us in the best position to win. Again, we'll talk more overview type stuff of what we're going to do. And obviously I'll take a peek at the scripts and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And defensively, Kevin, worked under me. We're really running the same stuff um, when I was here, but then obviously he has total autonomy to run whatever flavors he wants to put
Mm-hmm.
into it. And you see that the last 2 years and I think that's a good thing. I think it's that collaborative approach that really, makes it work well. And, I think the other thing is we all get along really well. So I think the kids see that. It's a good group.
Now, you're one of the veteran coaches. I know Joe O'Connor's a veteran coach too. Is there anybody on that staff, a younger coach, that keeps you guys young? Maybe it's their music, maybe it's the way they talk, it's maybe the way they dress. Are you starting to pick up their their habits? When I came home, my wife would always say, "Stop hanging out with your young coaches," because she would turn my car on and it would be the music that I normally don't listen to, but I listen to it when I'm around those guys. And I know there's got to be guys on the staff that keeps everybody youthful and energetic and all that stuff. Are there some of those coaches on your
Well,
staff?
I would say, I mean, now you put it in that perspective, I think we're kind of an old crusty bunch outside of Andrew Lemura. I mean, he's
Right.
probably the,
You can
the
hear the
youngest,
music
but
coming in the background, a car coming in, and it might be modern
yeah.
rap or something like that. You're like, oh, and it's not Coach Lang coming in here, but
No, I would say it's more of like, I would go the turn of like Keith Hugger. I mean, he's an older guy, but he still got the fire of a 20-year-old coach, and
good.
he kind of is the guy who'll kind of push the guys' buttons at practice and kind of keep the kids engaged. And I think it's something that our kids kind of look forward to on some days. But it's a group, it's a cast of characters. There's no doubt about it.
We'll keep all the little stories to yourself. We don't want to
Thanks,
tell everybody on
absolutely
the air, but all right.
appreciate it.
All right, Coach. Let's talk your 2022 Red Bank Catholic football schedule to your left, and on the right, we'll kind of talk a little bit briefly about that really, really competitive American division. So, Coach, take the floor with your schedule to the left.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. We're opening again uh, down in Ocean City, a part of the Battle of the Beach showcase. That's the 3-day event. So we'll be playing on Saturday night, 7:30. Against St. John Vianney. Appreciate we had a late cancellation, I guess you'd call it,
Mm-hmm.
as far as the opponent backed out, and we're fortunate to find an opponent, and I appreciate St. John Vianney stepping up, and I think it's obviously a good rivalry, a good way to start the short conference season with us, with the two of us playing.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we'll come back and we'll play Freehold Borough, which is a very good program with very good offensive philosophy. They're going to be a tough one out of the gates for us as a home opener. Next, we have Wall Township with I believe it's their first game, but that's with Coach Guerreri there. They're going to be well coached, and I anticipate a
I
tough one
think it
down.
is, Coach. I think it is their first game.
Yeah, so it's that's going to be a battle. We're at Mid South, which they've beaten us the last two times we played them. Obviously their resume, Coach Antonucci's resume speaks for itself. So not an easy one there. Then we have Donovan Catholic at home, which they've beaten us the last 2 years. Obviously, big battle there as well. The next week, I guess part of I guess now there's going to be some alignments with Donovan and us picking up a Big North team to play, which I'm all for. And Seton Hall Prep is a very good program. I believe they made it to the semifinals last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a very very tough game. Next, we go out to Manalapan, which I believe they have the most returning starters in the division.
Yeah.
They do a great job there. Not an easy place to play. And then we obviously have Rumstead at home on the 21st, which that's I don't I know people will say they're losing guys, and like every year since I've been here, it's been a battle. So I anticipate that being another tough game. And then lastly, a couple weeks ago, with the moving around the schedules, we were fortunate enough to find somebody to add to our schedule. So we picked up Curtis High School out of Staten Island, which historically is one of the better teams out there. They've won numerous state titles, and we again we're fortunate to pick up a game this late in the year, and it's a good opponent for us. Um, so I'm very excited. I think it's one of our tougher schedules we've had over the years,
Correct.
and I think it's kind of where we want to be. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about your division in a second, but that is a very tough schedule with three non-conference games. You added Curtis, Seton Hall Prep, but let's talk about the showcase. I have a question about that. You played in it last year, the Battle at the Beach in Ocean City. What kind
Yep.
of environment was it? How was it for your players to travel down south to exit? What is it? Exit 10?
That's like 21, I believe.
21. How was the atmosphere doing that, traveling that far down south in still the summertime to play a football game?
Well, I think it's I like the idea of having given our kids new experiences, and I think this is one where we played. I want to say we were what were the 2 o'clock game, and it was a weird situation because I don't know if you recall or not, but it
The
poured
weather.
on Saturday.
Yeah.
But we were lucky; we were the only game that didn't have rain. It was literally walking down onto the field and it stopped raining for the whole game, and then it was not great the rest of the day for the rest of the teams. But I do see the potential of this one being even a bigger environment. We're playing where the night game there. If you're familiar with the whole setup there,
Oh
literally
yeah.
the boardwalk is in the background and
It's
all that
beautiful.
stuff. And the games that day, I believe Tom's River North is playing Washington
Washington.
Township,
Yep.
and then the game before us is St. Peter's Prep at St. Augustine. So I think you have a couple really really big games that day, and I think it'll be a great environment. I think be a big crowd, year two for it. So I think it'll be good.
Oh yeah, that's great. I will be on that merry-go-round that day. I'm bringing my family
There
down
you go.
there. She wanted to know why we're going down to Ocean City, and then she found out there were games. So whatever. So we're gonna probably take two cars on that day. Coach, the American Division now. You moved up a division. As you can see, the American Division is known as the SEC, the Black and Blue Division. Um, looking right down on it, there's some quality football programs that have high expectations like yourself. Donovan Catholic, Middletown South, Manalapan, who, like you said, has everybody back. Wall, new head coach Eddie Guerreri, and Rumson. And Rumson just reloads every single year. This is a competition you want to play, correct?
Yeah, I'm all for it. I think it's where we need to be as a program. I think you have just a battle every week. Like you said, it's the SEC of the shore, and I just think it just has potential to be a very interesting year for this division.
Yeah, it really does. And every one of those teams presents a certain problem to everybody playing because they're strong in different areas, but they're very good football program overall, just like yourself, coach. The 2022 football schedule of Red Bank Catholic, it's a tough one, but this is something that you guys wanted.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, coach. Now let's hear what Red Bank Catholic will be running offensively and defensively. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, we're not really changing too much here. I mean, we're going to be spread no huddle. We pretty much live in the RPO world, just like every high school seems to be.
Wait, is RPO run power often, or is it run pass? Yeah.
Well, you're an old school guy, huh? But again, we use a lot of different personnel. We use a lot of different formations, but we want to establish the run, and open up some lanes in the passing game for our athletes out there. Again, we'll change some things up as we go throughout the year, but that's generally going to be our basis there. Defensively, we start off as a 4-3, and I think I heard you saying the other day, everybody talks their multiple. I mean, I think we're pretty multiple on defense as well. We'll run a 3-3, 3-4. We'll run the nickel and dime. So, but our basis is based off the 4-3.
Coach, when I was joking about the RPO, but that's what we ran too. But and seeing your athletes on a field when you spread out from sideline to sideline and figure out what you're doing, your RPO, everybody can get the football on any play with your pre-snap reads, your post-snap reads, and you need to do that. And that's why you're very tough to defend with your RPOs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we want to spread the field, and it's all dictated off of numbers and things like that. And I think last year with the first full year of running it, obviously minus the COVID year, I think you saw success, and we'll see where it goes this year. But I'm excited for it.
All right, Coach. This is my favorite part of the preview shows is the top position groups. I believe it's important to have a group that is powerful instead of just having a powerful defensive end or just a real good quarterback. So it involves a body of people. So I broke down Red Bank Catholic, and you tell me if I'm right or not. But this, I believe, here is your strength of your offense, defense, and your special teams. Offensively, I think your strength is your receivers and your tight ends.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Will you tell me a little bit about and you got two guys that are already Division I offery kids. You got Rahman and Ross. Not a bad situation to have. Talk briefly about those position groups, the tight ends, receivers.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, those first two kids you mentioned, Jai will be a 3-year starter for us by the end of this year, and he's the leader, the mature guy of the group, and kind of guy that we'll lean on as far as even with our younger quarterbacks coming up, as far as guiding us the right way. He's a kid who does everything the right way. Just committed to Brown, has a great future ahead of himself. And I think we'll be leaning on him a lot to do a bunch of different things this year. Obviously, Emmanuel is going to be a junior this year. Obviously, he's got a lot of accolades, a lot of offers coming out. I'm interested to see what year 2 brings for him. Obviously, having a full slate under his belt last year, now he kind of knows what to expect as opposed to being a young sophomore last year. People forget about Rob Stolfa, and we don't forget him. I mean, obviously, he made some big plays for us down the stretch as our slot receiver last year, and he's a really good return man for us. So played corner for us. He does a lot of different good things for us, and I think, you know, just because he's the third guy, it's not the situation here. I mean, he's a guy who can do a lot of. He'll play halfback for us at times, does a lot of good things. And obviously the challenge now is, what is after Bauman graduates, like who's the fourth guy? Whether it's, we have a couple nice options at tight end. Obviously, Jack Bohm Serini is a guy who's up and coming. Recently had a transfer from Central Regional, Luke Kriskowski. We have Evan Belinda as another option at tight end, and obviously we have some depth at receiver. Marlon Melendez will be a guy who will be in the mix there. A guy who's come back off of he's injured, a couple injuries last year. Stephen Myers is another up and coming junior receiver. We have depth there, but again, we have our running back situation is not exactly bare in our line, but these guys, I think you see the talent out there, and we have to do a good job of getting them the ball.
Well, Coach, when I had to pick the top position groups, he was very tough. It was very tough. It could have been the other positions too, but with their wide receivers, tight ends, you only have one football. That's got to be tough, for them to accept the role. Because if they all accept the role, and I remember what you said last year, you said, well, if everybody accepts their role, we have a chance to be very good. And I'm sure you're echoing the same thing out to them, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you think of what last year was collectively offensively. You had all this, you had these guys back with Bauman there, and then you had Cooper in the mix with these guys at running back.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing, I've said to these guys all along, even last year, is, I want to see what you do when you get the ball, but I also want to see what you do when you don't get the ball.
Yeah, body language too.
What are we gonna be happy for the guy next to me? And we've done a good job with that. I think that's just the world we live in, but I think that's a echoing message through all the skill spots.
It's funny how you said that, Coach, because this was a couple years, dating back a couple years ago, and I will not say what program, but I knew if it was a run or pass, or if I might change that. I knew if he was getting the football or if he wasn't. It was a receiver
Right.
would come out of the huddle, and his body language dictated he's not getting it. When he was getting it, fixing his wristbands, he had a little juice to him. But you're right, body language is very, very important. In RPOs, though, Coach, nobody knows where the ball's going at times. Just you, maybe, in the quarterback. So that saves you.
Kind of helps the cause running the RPOs, no doubt about it.
Coach, now your defense, again, you're real talented. We know you got that great defense end, Aiden Donahue. You got your DBs, Portella, and all those guys. But I think the strength of your defense is your linebackers with Davin Bruton and Mike Palmieri, who will be one of the top players in the position rankings when it comes out in August. Would you agree about your linebackers?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're obviously some kids graduated last year collectively on defense, and those two guys, down a stretch last year, they made some big plays. They made some huge plays in the state finals last year, and there'll be guys that we'll lean on. Those two guys make a lot of the checks, a lot of the calls. Mike's. Mike, kind of split time as a sophomore, so it'd be kind of like a 2.5-year starter here.
Mm-hmm.
Davin's been up with us since even when he was a freshman, he's played. So I'm interested to see. Obviously they're great players, but obviously their leadership is going to take us a long way here as well. And again, I think we have guys in other spots, but I think that's a fair assessment as far as kind of starts with those two guys, and obviously Luke Wasif being in the mix now. We have two good young linebackers behind them, Jamie Guthridge and Matt Lonzak. James McDonald, as he gets healthier, he'll be in the mix there as well. So it's a good deep group. I think I'm interested to see what the competition brings, but those two kind of start with those couple guys first.
Now, special teams. I know you have long snappers. I know you have returners, just by the body of names we talked about. But I think your kickers are your strength this year.
Well, kicker. Obviously we had our kicker graduate last year. We'll have some competition at kicker. EJ Masillo did a nice job as a punter last year for us. He can do both. Obviously, we have a transfer that came in, Justin Morty from Manalapan. We have some other guys. just like every other position is going to be competition there. I think special teams are a big part of what we do here. We got to be we have to have them tightened up. We play in 48 days now, so we got to make sure that's all good there too.
Musello. You said that name. Very, very familiar name. Did he have somebody that was kicking years and years and years ago, back when probably I was in high school?
I believe his father, correct? I think it was
He went to Penn State.
Yep, Penn State guy. So,
Coach, I never had an intimidating punter before, but he was an intimidating. I was the returner in the All Shore football game, and we're playing Ocean County, and he was booing him so high. I'm saying to myself, I was like intimidated. The depth and the distance of his kicks was incredible. But wow, so if he's related to that guy, you got a good one.
Yeah, and he's a good football player. I anticipate him playing some other spots for us. So he's a tough kid. So I'm anxious to see what he does.
Good. Maybe some sneaks with the punter, right? Some tough guy run plays.
It's always a chance with us, I guess. Right?
All right, Coach. Now let's talk 2022 football players that you are excited that are coming back this year to defend the non-public B state championship. You got a lot of athletes there, and I mean, Coach, when I was doing my estimate list of how many players you have for top position rankings per grade level, you have over 20 something players, and that says a lot about the depth of your team. It really does. So you got a lot of excitement. Your practices, I would love to come to one of your practices because they got to be very competitive with the players you got. Let's hear about some names that you got coming back.
Yeah, obviously, we have Sabino Portella returning at running back and strong safety. Najai Rahman, wide receiver, he'll play some defensive back for us. Aiden Donahue at defensive line. Torrin Harmon as a running back. He'll be a strong safety linebacker for us. Obviously Michael Palmieri is a linebacker. Offensive line wise, we have two returners. We have Lorenzo Portella, who'll be a 4-year starter by the time he's done here.
Yeah.
And obviously Tyler Burnham plays next to him. Both kids will, I think, have a good college future ahead of them as well. Obviously, Davin Bruton and Mike Linebacker we talked about before. He'll play some running back for us too. Rob Stolfa, receiver and D-back. And then obviously like you said, we have a lot of kids coming up the ranks here that hey, they're competing for spots. Obviously, I think Avery Barnes has a big ceiling here as far as where he can go on both sides of the ball. But I think even at corner where it's a spot we have two guys that graduated, we probably have probably 5 or 6 guys fighting for time there. Isaiah Nash, Devin Henry, obviously Ross will play there. Stephen Myers has had a great summer for us on both sides. Colin Hurst at safety. Christian Ungama had unbelievable state championship game for us as our bandit safety last year. So. To your point, there's a lot of depth, but there's also a lot of competition, which makes practice that much more interesting. To be honest with you, we do a nice job, I think, as a staff to make it competitive as possible. Guys got to earn their keep here a little bit to kind of move up the ranks.
That's a lot of names you had out there, but worthy guys.
I probably missed somebody.
Worthy guys. Well, I'm not going to miss them, Coach, because when the top football position rankings comes out, I'm going to be honest with you. You're not going to be a lot of players are not going to be missed on that list from Red Bank Catholic. A lot of great players in your program. You have a lot to look forward to. Knock on wood, it's a normal season. You're going to start off the season playing St. John Vianney at Ocean City, where I will be there with my wife in 2 different cars. I'm excited for you guys, and I'm excited to see, you guys, defend. And I don't know if you say defend or we're going after the 2022 championship. I don't know. Do you tell the players we're defending it or no, we're going to win it this year? What's your mindset with that?
I'll be honest with you. It's a great question. I don't know how much we've really talked about that part of this. I think it's more about what's in front of us week 0.
Yeah.
I think it's obviously we practice to we practice to win week 0, but obviously we practice to beat everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously there's a lot of work that goes behind that, and like the schedule you talked about. We have a challenge every week, so
Mm-hmm.
we're a long way away from that whole MetLife talk again. I totally get it. It comes with the job, but right now we're just worried about getting better and getting ready for August 27th.
Spoken like a true head coach. Us reporters will talk about the other stuff, but Coach, a lot to look forward to, and I want to thank you for coming on the show today. I'm going to be watching you, I guess, in the 7-on-7s Tuesday, I believe, right?
Yep. Yes,
Yep.
sir.
I got to see you in the Monmouth, which you rotated just so many people in there. I knew that. Got a good taste of seeing your depth of your team there too. Will you have your whole team there on Tuesday?
We'll have a majority of the skill kids there.
Good.
Obviously, I'll have my quarterbacks there. We have 3 guys competing for the job
Yep.
there, and I think we have a few guys that might be. We'll probably have them in the 20s as far as kids, and we'll get them all some good reps. So we'll go from there.
Yeah, Portella's in South Dakota wrestling right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in Fargo, North Dakota, at the wrestling, so I don't anticipate him being there.
But he'll be on after you because thank God for Google Meets. We can
That's it.
we could do that. So yeah, that guy motor doesn't stop. He works his tail off, and I love the fact that he's a multi-sport athlete and he's a winner on and off the field. That kid, I really believe that. So,
No
Coach,
doubt.
thanks for coming on. Best of luck to you guys. You need anything? The Shore Football Report will be there for you guys.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach. All right, now we're going to talk to the Red Bank Catholic senior football players, and we got three winners here on and off the field. And I'm going to try and pronounce all 3 of your names. Listen, it took me 3 months to pronounce my wife's name too. It's really tough. I couldn't pronounce Sue. I kept stuttering with it and all that. So please don't be insulted with these names. So on the bottom, going up, we have the outstanding wide receiver DB, Najai Ramon. Right? Did I pronounce it right? Ramon. Darn. Oh. Right in the middle, we have the outstanding running back safety, Sabino Portella. Did I pronounce that name right? Yeah.
Sounds good.
And up top, we have the outstanding running back / safety, Torin Harmon. Guys, thank you for coming on the show today. Right? Just wave your hand, Torin. Yep. Good. Hey, we're going to do 5 questions. And the Shore Football Report already knows how good of football players you guys are on the field. I want to know a little bit more about the Red Bank Catholic football team. And I'm going to ask you guys these questions that we didn't go over. I want to hear your reactions. And I want to know a little bit more about the football program. You guys ready? Let's get right into it. First question. Who on your football team keeps it chill and has you guys smiling, laughing before the coaches come into the room? And when Coach Lange comes in, you guys have to settle down with all the laughing going on. The clown of the team. Who keeps you guys laughing all the time at the right moments during practices and games on your football team? Go ahead. We'll start with you, Sabino.
So who's like team clown?
Who's the team clown? You can call it what you want.
I'm gonna say I think Davin's a funny guy. Davin gets everybody laughing for sure. That's my answer. But he knows when it's time to get serious. But I would say Davin.
Okay, Najai,
Sure.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna also go with Davin because Davin and I have been boys since like 5th grade, 4th grade, and also his cousin Isaiah Nash. So he's my boy, so he always makes me laugh.
Yeah, you guys got to have a real big grin on you, so he must be pretty funny, that guy.
Yeah.
Torrin, give me a different name. It can't be.
Honestly, I think it's either Davin or Lorenzo.
Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Oh, your brother, Sabino?
Lorenzo.
Yep.
No, he's definitely up there. Yep.
He's definitely up there. He's pretty funny.
He's top 2.
He's top 2?
100%. Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. And you guys do know when to stop, though, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Listen, all us coaches always want to know who's making everybody laugh before we get into the room. So now we know who the clowns are on the team. Which is very important too. Good. Number 2, guys, who's the leader that when Coach Lange or one of the coaches wants to have a message sent out to the whole program, you kind of text, call, tweet, you inform everybody. There's always one player on the team that kind of takes the lead with that. Who does that in your program? Torin, who does that?
Aiden Donahue's he's a big
He's good.
Everyone listens to him. He's a scary kid, so.
Oh, he's a darn good defensive end too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it safe to say it's him, or is there somebody else?
I'm gonna go with him, 100%.
So while you guys are working out, you can rely on him giving you that text. Hey, we're meeting at 4:30, not 5, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Sure.
Good. All right, Aiden Donahue, outstanding defensive end too. Number 3. All right, now you guys are back to normal in your off season. All right, for the last 2 years. So basically, when you were a freshman, after your freshman season, you had the COVID restrictions going on, and it stunk. Not just for you, but for everybody else out there. How important was it for you this year to be back to normal, especially after having the season that you had last year, to actually enjoy it and work hard towards another championship this year, which I know you guys want? Torin, how important was it to have a normal offseason for you guys this year?
I mean, it was different coming back from COVID, but our coaches did a really good job on keeping us all there, doing our jobs, even with the regulations between COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But we did a good job of getting together. So.
Mm-hmm. Najee?
Oh. I think it helps with the team bonding and also with the discipline, because COVID year, it was kind of messed up. We're coming back into the season, not fully practiced enough. So I think this year helped a lot.
Good. Nice. Sabino?
It brings a lot of things to the table. It's a lot different, especially for the younger guys. Now they're going to taste of it, and now everybody's kind of bonding together now that we know. And we're all kind of new to this, so it's nice, So I think it's going to help us tremendously.
Awesome. Yeah, it was real important. It's great that you could actually embrace and hug your players in the weight room, or when you go to your wrestling matches or your track meets and all that stuff, lacrosse, to be back to normal. It was real important. Good. Now, this is probably a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it because I asked everybody else. What are the expectations for this football team? You're a different football team. What is your expectations in your locker room for this year? Somebody.
I'll go first. So I think when it comes to games, practice, we should always give 100%, be disciplined, always have fun though, and always play as a family, and be relentless on defense, and always run up the scoreboard on offense. That's my motto and what I think the team should always do.
Nice. Sabino? Who else? Give me something else, guys.
We're going to win together. There's not going to
Who said that? Torin or Sabino?
Sabino, he's frozen.
Oh, it's frozen?
I think he's lagging.
Okay. Torin, what's your expectations?
To piggyback off Najai,
yeah,
I mean,
there's not going to be one guy this year. We all got to do it together. We're going to win together.
Yeah. You're going to win together. Yeah. Last one, Torin. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, to piggyback off Najai, obviously we're looking for just winning everything, but we're taking it one game at a time, and everyone as a team, we're so close together that we don't really worry about a lot of things that I bet other teams do. So.
Well, you had a great season last year. You were 11-1. It's very hard to top it. You got different teams you're playing this year, and you got a bullseye on your chest right now. You do. You really do, which is what you want. You don't want to be I hate when people say, who's the sleeper team of that? No, you want people to know who you are. You want to be there in the beginning and to be there at the end is what your expectations are. Last one, guys. Why is it so special to play at Red Bank Catholic under Coach Lange? I want to know that. Tell everybody out there in your program, the youth players in your program, why is it so special to be at RBC and playing football under Coach Lange?
I'll go first, Torin. So what I think RBC football is, I think we're all a family, one big family. And whenever we come together and want to lose, we're always one family. And Coach Lange, to just tell you how he is as a coach, yeah, he's going to get in your butt. He's going to yell at you, scream at you, make you run. But he's always someone where he's open hands whenever you need anything when it comes to recruiting, or just need to tell him anything. Because in the past, I did have something, and then he opened up to me, and then came like a friend to me. So that's what I think RBC football is.
That's great. That's great. Sabino, you all right? You good? He's lagging a little bit. Isn't he? He's in another state, right?
I think he's on another planet, Coach.
Another planet. Yeah. Well, that might have better reception. Depends on which planet you're talking about.
Yeah.
Torin, why is it special to be at RBC under Coach Lange?
For me, when I transferred, I was kind of hesitant to begin with, but Lange brought me in and he got me so close with everyone. He did a really good job with that. Like, besides the coaching part of it, he's just good at building a strong relationship. So I can't thank him enough for that.
Nice. We're going to end it with Sabino. Are you okay? Is he lagging still?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look how he's standing still. He probably doesn't stand still like that, does he?
No.
I know he's in another state right now. We're gonna have some fun with that, right? But he's lagging. All right, I'll just end it with this. Why I think it's special to play at Red Bank Catholic under Coach Lange. A, he cares about you guys. He does. He truly does. And let me tell you what, when you watch his video, he was laughing a lot. He actually was smiling in the interview. And I know he doesn't do a lot of that during the season. He plays that tough guy thing, but he's smiling in the interview. So you better make sure you watch that. But he does care about you guys. He really does. He's high energy. He's high energy. And like you said, it's about family, right? It's about family. And that's what it's all about. You could be an injury away, guys, and then all of a sudden you're going to need that family through thick and thin. You got to win on and off the field, and you guys are winners on and off the field. I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. 5 questions. You got a whole summer to enjoy, but the football season's right around the corner, guys. All right? Wishing you guys the best of luck. You are the number 1 team in the Shore Conference. I don't think there's a secret to it, and you want to be that way at the end of the season, and you got the horses to do it. You got to do it. All right?
Sure.
The Shore Football Report wishes you the very best.